Welcome back to the channel. Today's video is about Alvis, and in particular a very special Alvis TD. Now this first vehicle that you're looking at is a 1964 Alvis TE21 Drophead Coupe. It's a vehicle that we've had before. We sold it in the past. There is a video on the channel which we'll link to, and now it's back in stock for sale once again. This second car is one of the earliest Alvis TD21 Drophead Coupes. In fact, it's the third one made and the first one into Scotland. It was registered just a month after the 1958 motor show. Now this is my own vehicle. It's one I'm in the latter stages of restoring, and I've bought it because I believe that Alvis at the moment represent tremendous value for money. When you think of what went into them, they were built by Park Ward. They were very much a handmade car, and compared to other very individual bespoke motor cars, I think that they are fantastic value for money. Introduced in 1950 as a 3-litre Alvis TE21, by the middle of that decade, Mulliner's Saloon and Tickford's Drophead Coupe bodies were beginning to look dated. Alvis urgently needed a new model, and it was Alvis Swiss importer Hermann Graber who provided the new ponton body design which ultimately became the TD21. Carrosserie Hermann Graber, who'd been building bodies on Alvis chassis since 1946, were commissioned by the factory to prepare two prototypes on TC21 chassis. The two cars were returned in time for the 1955 Earls Court Motor Show in October. Although the new cars shared the same chassis and running gear, the transformation was remarkable. Press and public reaction was very favourable, and so Alvis decided to productionise the design. Known subsequently as the TC108G, some cars continued to be built to individual order in Switzerland. Production of a British-built version was licensed initially to coach builders Willowbrook of Loughborough, who proved unable to produce the volume required. It was to Park Ward, famous for building Rolls-Royce and Bentley bodies, that Alvis gave the contract for volume production. On its introduction in 1958, the TD21 Drophead Coupe cost around £3,300, the price of a large house in those days. Now this third car is something very special. We've never had one like it before. In fact, I don't know that another one actually exists. And what you might describe this as is a Graber Evocation. Bearing in mind that Graber would build you a bespoke motor car, the owner of this car and the person who's commissioned the restoration to this particular specification had in mind what sort of a car a customer might have asked Graber for if he wanted something slightly shorter and slightly more sporty looking than their standard offering. This back-to-back view gives you a very good impression of what the changes have resulted in. Now, one of the things you'll see straight away is that it is a much shorter car, and the chassis shortened by 7 inches, and to do that, this part of the rear wing was reshaped, and as you can see, there's only about 1 inch or so in front of the swage line on the modified car. The roof line, very reminiscent of the Ferrari 250, and as you can see, that's very much a 4-seater hood design, which was Graber's original intention and of course executed by Park Ward. As you'll see, the look at the front is very different. The car was originally a Series 2 saloon car, and the Series 2 Alvis TD21 had those fog lamps recessed into the front panel. But just like a Daimler SP250, where it was possible to get a number of different bumper configurations, including just the overriders, this particular car's got that type of design. Now, there are quite a few spares that come with this car, including the original bumpers, but I really like the look of it. It is reminiscent of cars like the sort of racing Austin Healey's, and it does give the car that more sort of sporting look about it. So this has been really interesting driving this particular car. I've driven the TE21 and in the past the TF21, but there's no doubt that the whole setup of having a 5-speed ZF gearbox is a big improvement on the early cars. Mine is a very early one. The pale blue metallic car has what is essentially a 4-speed Austin Healey gearbox with Alvis's own remote change arrangement, but it's just not as good as this. Having a 5-speed gearbox makes for a much more relaxing cruiser. The other thing to say is that the earlier cars, the very early ones, had what was essentially a TC21 engine. Still 3 litres, but not the same cylinder head design. And the engine during the course of production was gradually uprated. This is significantly more sprightly than the one that I've got. So summing up, this is very much a bespoke car. It is of the kind you could have ordered. It's something an owner could have ordered in the 1960s from Graber, a rather special bodied saloon car. If you look at their designs, they had some very pretty motor cars, and there's no doubt this particular car is very distinctive. Shorter wheelbase, the slightly more sporting sort of presentation of the car, it's very special. And when you think what it costs to buy a hand-built motor car from a prestige marque, I think this is tremendous value for money. We're offering it for far less than it cost to build it. It's unusual. I don't think we're ever going to see one quite like it.